the Happy Hour podcast with your host, Joel Fleischman.
Hello, welcome to the Joel Fleischman Happy Hour podcast number 18. Cheers, everybody. Welcome.
Cheers.
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 Glug, 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 glug.
Our first multi-timers, or some of our first multi-timers. We got Jason
Yep.
Blinker here,
Good to be
Caitlin
back.
Stahl, number 2, and we've got Andy Rettler on my left, first timer.
First timer, thank you for having me, Joel.
So Andy just had a root canal fracture surgery.
Just root canal.
Right. So Jason's the leader of our systems team and manufacture. Andy is in charge of the leader of supply. Caitlin is in charge of our HPD department. And primarily today we're going to be probably all over the board, but we are here to answer focus group questions.
Yeah.
Kind of some
Well-
hard-hitting, go ahead.
There are state of happiness questions
Yes.
from this year's State of Happiness. So after everybody completed State of Happiness, they rated it to see what they liked it or not, and then they submitted some questions, which we're here to answer.
So we're here to answer all the questions, or like the majority ones, themed questions, or what are we doing?
Anything that wasn't individualized. So if you had an individualized question, you've already been reached out to by Jenna Lee or Betsy Gittard to let you know kind of the answer to your question. Otherwise, these are pretty broad questions, and they kind of apply to everybody in the team. So even though one person asked it, I'm sure many of you guys are wondering the same thing, so we want to answer them for you.
State of happiness questions answered, pod 18. Go. Okay, go.
So how did they rate overall? How was the rating of the?
Okay, so overall,
question.
that is a great question.
Important question.
Important
Yeah.
question. We're going to answer that question right now.
When we come back from the break.
Overall, it was really good. A lot of 4s out of 5s, and a lot of the feedback was, I loved it, this was so great, but 4 because of COVID. And I'm like, I can't help COVID. This isn't my.
That's just life.
I didn't choose it, my friends.
Yeah.
But overall, the feedback was really good. Some people, which was kind of funny, kind of the introverts were like, this is the best state of happiness we ever had. I love this. And then the extroverts were kind of like, oh, I miss my people. I miss, screaming at the top of my lungs upstairs. So it was pretty fun, though. I mean, it was great feedback, and overall, for
So
our
you're
first time,
saying
it's
an introvert created COVID? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, not directly.
Okay, let's get to at least
Moving on.
let's get to at least one question.
Yeah. There's 20 questions, and we're gonna get to about
And we're out of time for today.
Yes. So one of the questions that we got is, are we going to still do an expo with COVID in 2022?
Save the date. We are definitely doing an expo. It's going to be at Lambeau freaking Field, and February 22nd. I'm supposed to know that. Anybody else know?
That sounds right.
It was in the
Sounds
newsletter.
plausible.
I'll look it up to give the proper
It's a great
answer.
question, and we'll get back to you on that.
And no, I got it right here somewhere.
It's a great question. It's an important question, and we're going to answer that question.
Not funnier the second time. Expo is February 17th, 2022, I believe.
Save the date.
It's the weekend after the Super Bowl, because we have it at Lambeau, so they don't have it at Super Bowl weekend.
Oh, wait a minute. What if the Packers win the Super Bowl and they have the parade that day?
Then it'll be epic, all-timer. So it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. Super happy to host the event there. Elkhart's always treated us great, but we will be out of space there, so we need to go to Lambeau, which we're really excited about, and hosting it there.
Cool.
Cool. More info to come. Go
Yes.
Pack, go.
So another question that we've got, so I'm going to go through all the culture questions first because I kind of bulked them up accordingly. So this person writes, just a broad question. Everyone says they came here and immediately were pleased to find that they were more than just a number. I personally came from working in a family business where I was just a number. It wasn't treated like family like I am here at Drexel. My question is, with all of the growth anticipated in the years to come, Are there thoughts or actions in place to make sure we maintain that family aspect that everyone at Drexel brags up and down about? I know that can be hard to do with with expansion and the numbers of team members and the growth of the business, but I know Drexel can do it.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I've been answering that question since we've had 10 people. That's a fact, and we take it very seriously, and it was hard every step of the way to maintain that, but that's what we do, and that's what we have to do. And to me, corporate is a mindset, not a numbers thing. So it has nothing, and that's the people that work here. I have seen, I'll pick on Culture Club. I've seen our Culture Club act very corporate. Not by intent, but by their actions. The intention of Culture Club is to ensure the fact that we're never corporate, yet I have seen them in the room act that way. So we have to hold ourselves accountable to each other to not act corporate. So that's the response for sure. Anything to add, guys?
Yeah, I think you covered it 2 years ago at State of Happiness. I think you said this was a question you addressed directly live. If you remember, it was, we told everybody to think small. We might have 500 some people across all of Drexel at all the locations, but your world is a department and a location. And when you think that way, it doesn't seem as large. And if we do our best to stay connected to each other, which is our new core value this year, I think we keep that family, small town feel by thinking that way and using connection as a core value.
Yeah, our largest location has 100 people. That's not that many. Your largest shift has 40 people. The largest line has 20 people. Designers have 20. I mean, your department's, any department has over 100. Operations does, I guess, in supply, but again, think small, act small, we'll be fine. Great add-on.
Absolutely. I don't have anything to add to that. So the next culture question we have is, this is more of a comment. This person writes, we are lucky at Drexel to be participating in a great industry, new home building and commercial construction. The systems recaps videos were quite interesting, especially seeing what's going on during the plant tours. Drexel's move to include component manufacturing and off-site construction is another way Drexel will continue to lead the building supply industry. But ultimately the question is, how can I better help Team Blue continue to supply happiness?
Right, that's great. I mean, thank you for everybody's comments.
Yeah,
These are awesome.
Questions, great. You have questions, spit it out all the time, anytime. So ultimately the question is, how can I personally help supply happiness? I'll give the shoe. I give the shoe every week. I try to open up the shoes. All of our new team members come to Supply Happiness University. The first hour is with Joel.
Yep.
The first thing they learn when they come to Drexel, the very first thing is what does supply happiness mean? I say it every week. 3 things: community, clients, team. That's how you supply happiness. So, kind of boring. Clients, extremely great customer service.
Yeah.
Hospitality industry. Wow them. However you want to say that, that's number 1. That's supplying happiness. Do more of that. You're empowered, every person is empowered to make the customer extremely happy. Biggest thing with that is just doing your job well.
Right.
Yeah.
On time and in full.
Yeah.
It's like literally doing the boring things in life. You know, that's a Mother Teresa thing. Like, do the littlest things to make the biggest impact.
Right.
So think little. Don't think this big global supply of happiness. The littlest thing supplies happiness. That's clients. Team, and I say it every week, you cannot be negative and positive at the same time when you walk into any room, any experience. You're either the negative source of energy in the universe or the positive influence. You choose. You want to supply happiness, make your teammates more positive. Third thing is the community. That you can give back. You can help, you can volunteer, you can wear a Drexel hat and make a difference in your church, in your school, in your community. That's all making an impact. Absolutely.
I usually, so a lot of team members, you know, when they're looking to grow their careers here, or they're just, looking to supply happiness, they're always wondering like what that looks like, right? Because that is kind of, like you said, there are actual things you can do. And I always, like, if you're doing all of our core values, like if you're living and breathing them every single day, all of them, you can't skip one and still supply happiness. I'm sorry, that's just the reality of it. You have to have all of them. And I'm like, you have to do them all. Like, You're like, oh, I'm really good at communicating, but I'm not going to hold someone accountable today. Well, if you're not going to do that, then you're really not supplying happiness because you're missing, either the client or the team member in that aspect.
Well, and I think it even goes back to the previous comment about thinking small and staying small. You don't have to, it's not something outside of the job that you already do. Think within your lane and within what you do. It's everybody sometimes tries to grasp at something that's external. And
Yes.
think of what you can do every day to make the next person in line, set them up for success. If you're in the production environment, how can you make the next guy down the line or next gal down the line, making sure that the design is 100% right so that it goes to the shop floor so that they're happy with the product that you're supplying them. It doesn't have to be some big grandiose thing.
Yeah, there's no job here that's not important. There's no job here that doesn't impact the customer in any way, positive or negative. If we had those jobs, I think we got rid of them.
I would agree.
Everybody that's here can make an impact every day, and it is by doing the little things. And it might sound mundane, and you think there's some grandioso, magical answer here. It's really doing what you do as best as you can at an exceptional level every day in its simplest form.
100%.
Did you tell me the quote where it was like, do the next right thing?
Yeah,
That's really it.
Yeah.
Like, what's in front of you today? What's the next right thing?
I love that. Matthew Kelly.
Yeah.
The next right thing. That's great.
Yep. Cool. All right. So those are most of the culture questions.
I'm not sweating yet. We're okay.
You're not sweating yet?
No.
Okay.
The Expo
hard
one was
one.
Expo one was the biggest curveball so far.
I know. Oh, I thought that one would be the easiest, so I started
Yeah,
off
it
with
was,
that.
seemed like a low-hanging fruit.
Little softball. But
Yeah, just kidding. So now we're going to kind of but kind of go into sales and growth. So Andy, our spreadsheet magical guy, he is. So people want to know what's
I'm
the
trying to remove that label, thank you.
Whenever I think of you, I instantly think of spreadsheets.
That's cool.
Or do you remember when Andy first started? Oh, you weren't here. Oh, sorry. It's like, oh, sorry. But he would
Sheets.
always
Just call
send
them
out, oh, we should have. But he used to send out graphs with everything he's like, hey, Team Blue, we're doing great. Here's a graph. Sorry.
Okay, so we were at a conference in Maine. Andy, tell the story.
With the Paul DePodesta one, the GM of the Mets.
No,
was
when
speaking,
they
which
said,
one?
what's wrong with you, Joel?
Oh, that was at the round table, yes. Yeah, okay, that story. When you sit at these round tables, they sit and go through.
What's a round table? Like,
A
what
round
are
table
we doing?
is a number of lumber yards, independently owned like us, across the nation get
Motor
together.
size.
Yep, compare numbers of how they're doing, but more importantly, talk about special things that they do. So
Best practices.
Best practices, we can all learn from each other. And we've learned a lot from them over the years. We've decided this year to focus on ourselves, so we're not going to any this year, which I think is great, and we covered that in State of Happiness. So you sit around this table and you literally go over graphs and spreadsheets and compare certain things. And it's, I don't remember the full story, but here's what I remember. I think it was Arnold Lumber in Jackson was talking about some sort of percentage number, this, that, and they kept going. And Joel
They're
said,
very excited about
They
it.
were very, very excited about it. And Joel said something to the effect, so fill in the gaps for me, but I do remember Joel saying, I don't know, I don't sit around and look at spreadsheet porn like you guys do all day. And of course, the whole room erupted in laughter. And he just goes, what is wrong with you?
The guys, the other lumberyard guys.
The guys from, where's Arnold from? New Jersey?
Yeah, Jersey guys.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
And they got the Jersey accent, and they're very New
What?
Jersey.
Like, I thought it was to be taken out.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
The whole meeting, what in the world is wrong with you? So it was a very funny moment.
That is funny.
Kenny
All right.
Bunkport.
Yep.
Who lives in Kenny Bunkport, Maine? Holden? Yeah, you should know this. You're a big, huge Republican.
I don't know anybody from Maine.
Yes, you do. The Bush family has a place in Kenny Bunkport.
We saw the
Oh, yeah.
saw the place.
I love
Kenny
it.
Bunkport.
I love that he just did like the English royal
Kenny
family whip.
Bunkport. Go see the Bushes.
Like the president?
Yes, like the Bushes, all the Bushes, George, Barbara, Babs. George 3,
is this
George
like
4.
you're Howard Stern, he's Robin, or what is this?
Have you never seen our podcast?
Yeah, but I'm
he's
just
my
figuring
guy.
this out now because it's just been a voice, and now I'm kind of getting it.
Yeah.
Now that you're sitting here, like you don't catch that before. Yeah, he's my guy.
Long-time listener, first time on the podcast.
Right, now you've actually met Holden.
I've actually been simulcasting it. I've been watching the videos as well.
No, Rogan's got a guy too. What's Rogan's guy's name? Can't think of it.
Oh, they all got a guy.
yeah,
We gotta have a guy.
Yeah, he's my guy.
Can you look that up for me quick?
You're actually Ed,
Yeah, he's,
for those my age, Ed McMahon and John
Look,
Custin.
he's Googling it. Like, that's what they do. They Google it.
Yep.
You know, right? Okay, keep going.
Okay. So,
Chime in anytime.
perfect. What is the growth breakdown in sales through each department?
Great question. First of all, I'll go into why I didn't do this in the virtual edition.
Jamie, yes, Jamie.
You're gonna call him Jamie now?
I don't brag you up as much as Rogan does.
Yeah.
Rogan's always bragging Jamie up.
Can we just call him Jamie for the rest of the podcast?
Yeah, maybe forever. No, I don't want to be Rogan.
All right, Jamie, you done?
I don't want to be Rogan 2.0. He's Holden. He's no Jamie.
We'll call
He's,
him OT.
he's not.
Overturn.
Okay, cool.
So, getting into this, reason I didn't do this in the virtual edition, in a non-live environment, data like that, I'm very leery to present that and talk about it because so many assumptions can be made if you can't answer live questions. And as you guys see in the news every day, numbers can be spun and can create a perception of not what's really happening. So that's why we didn't do it in this version of the virtual State of Happiness. We can do it now. I don't know if that's good. Actually, the captains have been on my tail about creating something for them for metrics weekly in their huddles, which we are going to do with Mr. Steve Truss, who's been hired to take care of all this. So I think that's our best course of action instead of going through it all here. I don't think today would do it justice.
So weekly you
know
get
that's
your tactical for your department, which is what everyone's craving.
I think that's our goal, is to get as much metrics in, as scorecard items in those tactical meetings, to be able to give you that information on an ongoing, not an annual, but an ongoing basis.
And honestly, if you're the person that asked that question, or if you have any interest at all in your department, it's not because we don't want to share, be transparent. We do. So just reach out to anybody, Andy or Steve Truss, and they can walk you
don't
through
want
it.
to live in
start
the
with your
interwebs.
start with your
Yeah.
department leader, so they can walk you through it.
I will say this, if you want some detail, we did pretty good last year.
Yeah, what were we up in sales? I mean, we're up in sales. I don't have the
Gosh.
final numbers.
That's the most rattler
We're up
answer I've
around,
ever
I think
heard.
36% was that maybe where
Yeah.
we don't land it yet. I'll be doing a little update on that when we get it all in. But it's a little bit early in the month to know that. But I believe 36% were up from last year, which is incredible. So kudos.
We did good.
We're
And
doing
so
good.
just again, and I said it in State of Happiness, I think at least 8 times, but thank you everybody for everything you contribute. It means a lot to everybody. It feeds a lot of families, so keep it up.
And I'm very excited in year 2 of the ESOP. I like calling them now wealth shares. I read that on, it is, they're wealth shares. Like, I don't think people quite understand it yet, and that's okay because we're not into it, the ESOP yet. Someday you may make, it's like playing the stock market. You might make as much on your shares of Drexel that you do much as you work here. That's a very much reality, everybody. We're gonna outperform the stock market, and you're gonna make money on the shares of the stock that you own here. So you may have a W-2 that is less than the wealth shares that you have here, if we keep doing the little things amazing well. Tied it all back in. Okay, keep going.
Nice. Okay. The next comment / question, no need to get back to me, but I'm a little disappointed that flooring didn't get a shout out. We went from almost nothing, from not going to New Berlin, up a ton in sales and margin. We've been kicking some major ass, and it would be great to get a shout out.
Shout out to flooring.
Here's the flooring.
Here's to flooring.
Great year.
That is a great year.
Cheers.
Unbelievable stability, culture, fun in flooring. And yeah, they went from what they considered, I did not, but what they considered, I've heard numerous times, a redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
Struggled, frustrated, didn't feel like they were even part of Drexel because they were so, it just doesn't feel like Drexel. I talk to anybody in flooring, they're completely Drexel. They're absolutely killing it. Perhaps the market leader in Campbell Sport and New Berlin. Just talked to April yesterday, in fact, thinking about location number 3. Where are we going next? Which will be Kiel or Berlin. Both have very valid reasons to do that. Why not Wrightstown? The builders aren't asking for it. They're not requesting it. It's a little further distance. Kiel, why Kiel could be next? Geography. a little bit closer to Camel Sport, makes a lot of sense. Berlin, there's definitely some demand there. Both places would be ready for it. Not sure which one, may not be 2021, probably won't be, but it's coming because of the stability and profitability.
Absolutely.
And their margins are up around 5 points, I think. Is that right? We got flooring there?
I do.
Yeah, give them a true shout out on growth and improvement if you have it.
End of year ended up about 2.5 points up. In
2.5 points up. Unless you let me say.
It's not coming to Amherst, just to be clear.
We are not installing flooring in the floors like Wausau Homes quite yet at this point.
Quite yet.
Yet.
Yeah, right. Quite a little exaggeration, but let's keep going. All right.
Yeah.
Bathroom modules.
All right, State of Happiness talked about growth and opportunities for new positions. How do we know the vision of what opportunities are out there to see if there's an interest?
I guess, I don't know what that means, but Kate, do you want to grab
That
that?
sounds like an HPD question.
That does sound like an
Yeah.
HPD.
Well, I can help a little bit.
Okay.
So the vision is really, really hard. Like, there's positions we opened up last month that we didn't know we were going to open until a month before it. So a future projected forecast of what those are and where they land, really, really difficult.
Drexel is a book, okay, and it's, what's written is the history of the company. We're on today's page. I have a little secret. There's never been a Drexel. So the next pages, okay, little cheat code here, everybody, are completely blank. Now, do we have a vision of where we want to go in a North Star? Yes. Positions and where and when and how literally would be completely futile.
Right.
Literally a waste of time. It'd be no different than asking me, 2022, where are you going to eat? Where are you going to eat out on a Friday night?
Yeah.
No different than if I asked Holden, who are you going to marry and where's the wedding going to be? Right? Completely futile.
Zendaya in Costa Rica.
Wow.
But I
Great answer. Good answer.
Wrong answer, for sure.
Yeah, because it's actually Zendaya, so there's that.
just not
But I guess if you're, if.
Oh, Zendaya, the actress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in love with her too. I love her. Great pick. Great choice for a wife.
Jamie
I
looks
hope
like you
I'm
have
invited at least to
competition.
the dance.
You'll be invited to the wedding, Joe.
Yeah, awesome. That'd be great. Can't wait to meet her. I bet you.
too.
I bet. If you're listening, Zendaya, hoo-ha, give my boy a call, okay? Look him up. All right.
Here you go. But I guess my advice would be if there's a team member that is interested in growing their career, they're looking for different opportunities or ways to find different opportunities. I think obviously the first place to start is, obviously we'll look at the website, watch your emails. Every Friday, Betsy Gitter sends out an email to Team Blue. It's usually pretty witty, and it kind of goes through all of the positions that we have. And shows you kind of different opportunities. Now, if you maybe look at those and you don't know what some of them are, or you don't understand, maybe none of them interest you, I encourage you to just really be aware, and if there's a position, that you see in your location that you want to do, talk to your head coach, talk to your HBD team. We can really help talk you through that and what you're interested in, what you're not interested, and this past week, Betsy Gitter and I met with a team member, and we sat down and we went through the openings. And at the end of the day, none of them worked for that team member, and that's okay. But now we really have a clear understanding of what this person's looking for, and we can, next time we have an opening, I kind of know, this person knows, like, hey, that's kind of something I probably want to grab. Betsy and I know that this is something we want to talk to. Keep talking. That's my biggest thing, is don't look for opportunity, but don't say anything to anybody. Talk to people. Talk to your captain. Talk to your head coach. Talk to HPD. Talk to, anybody.
That's what I was going to add. Chat it up. Apply for a job you're not interested in.
Yeah.
Let leaders know you want to go somewhere in the company. HPD could be like a career counselor in that way, like, hey, I think you'd be good at this and that, and give you some guidance. That's great, but again, end of the day, it's on you to figure that out. So.
And then there's
just
times
apply.
where we invent positions because we didn't even know that they
Yeah.
were needed until we do a case
100%.
study or something that
Right.
we figure out that we have a problem or an opportunity that we don't have somebody that fits in an existing position and we need to create a new one. So,
Yeah.
100%.
so then we do a case study and vet it out and figure out and then it's a matter of who's the right person.
Don't be afraid
Yeah,
to take
sure,
it.
Jason.
Don't be afraid to take a chance.
Right. Ba-da-dum-dum-dum. Ba-da-dum-bum-dum.
How was the audio on this, Holden? Are you doing pretty good?
Might be over the top.
Pretty good? Too
actually.
much?
I haven't listened to it,
Back
but
away a little bit?
You need to like.
It's my first time on a podcast.
Adjust your seating before you talk to it.
Oh, don't make the...
No,
Don't
do
make-
that. You gotta, yeah, you gotta get,
You
like,
have
yeah. If you're gonna do something impactful, yeah. That's podcast body language right
If you're about
there.
to say something really important, just
Yeah.
So I've been thinking...
No, you didn't adjust your body enough. You gotta get it down. There you go.
So I've been thinking about this a long time, and it's a very important thought, and I've got to get it out. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and you don't know this friend, but I do. And that's not really important, but it's something that needs to be said, and it's very, very important. And I know you're not thinking about it, but I have been, and I know my mailman has, and I know other people have. So I think it's an important topic, and we really should cover it. Holden, what do you think?
I think it sounds important.
That's my podcast impersonator.
All right, next question. Great.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We're gonna move on. Are we going to dabble in off-site / commercial in steel? The reason I ask because in building codes, the first 4 floors can be wood, but after that, it has to be steel.
Not true. First of all, we do plenty of multi-stories wood
You can go to 6 stories in wood
currently.
currently.
But dabble,
that either.
right? So I don't like dabbling in anything. Had actually a salesman call me yesterday if we could get into Persetta stone or you could order it, not get into it. I said no. He laughed and I told him why, which was if we're into something, we're into it. We're the best at it. We're going to own it. We're going to tell our clients we're really good at this. I'm not going to say, well, I can order it for you and get it in. Like a restaurant. We own a restaurant. I'm not going to say, I can get you a lobster. We've never made it before. It might suck, but if you want a lobster and you know how to cook it, tell me and I'll fry it up, bro. That's suicide. Restaurants don't do that shit, not good ones.
No.
They have their menus, this is what we're really good at. So if we got into it, we'd be really good at it. There's no future forecast of getting into steel studs.
No.
It's normally carried by drywallers or a different industry requiring different tools. Not something we're currently looking into, doesn't mean never, but that's kind of our answer.
Yeah,
Jason, go ahead, you're the
I guess
building consultant.
my opinion would be if the lumber market continues to increase and where it makes sense to be cost competitive to wood, that we would convert everything to steel, it would make sense. But there's not enough of that business out in the marketplace right now to do it, to justify it. And I actually see more work in the future coming down with CLT, cross-laminated timber, and integrating wood panels into CLT, because CLT buildings, you can actually go up to, I believe, 13 or 15 stories in CLT. So it's going to be a competitor to steel and concrete.
I don't want this to sound sarcastic, it will. God keeps making trees,
Yes.
right? Like that supply is going to keep coming.
It's the only renewable building product that's out there.
Right.
Cool.
But yes, if lumber would triple again, well then steel becomes a big option.
Then it becomes competitive, yeah.
Ooh, this one's with the current times.
Meaty. It's an important one.
With
Lean in.
uncertainty with who will be the next president, I know it's been called by the media that Joe Biden is and Donald Trump demanding recounts and such. The market holds strong for construction. Right now, the market is strong in what kind of looks like a possible inverse market looming. Where do you see the market sitting for the next couple of months and years? It's hard to say, I know. Just wanted to see what your thoughts are.
I love it. Crystal ball time. This is like its own pod. All right, so, well, I'll take turns. Kate, you sitting out with this one? Or you
Yeah,
wanna
I'm out.
Go.
It's a great question. I actually invest in the stock market. I'm in an investment club with a bunch of buddies I used to play softball with. It's a different way to invest my money. I used to spend at a bar since I've had children. It's a little bit of fun, but I've learned a lot about the market, and the biggest thing I've learned is I have no idea. I really, good luck predicting it. I do know as long as interest rates stay low, our industry should be okay. I know there's a lot of supply shortage with high demand, and that's created a lot of challenges. We've been able to offset that with very, very low historic interest rates. I myself just refinanced last week to a 15-year mortgage at a very low rate. Highly recommend you do that if you can.
Are they one of our sponsors of the
Is-
podcast?
Brought to you by.
They're going to be. I think as long as the interest rates stay low, I see good times that can all change in a heartbeat. It is very, very difficult to predict. I'll let these two smart guys add on to that.
I guess my 2 cents as a former and current business owner of businesses, it's always, you always got to be, am I gambling right? Am I investing right for the long term? Is this thing going to pan out? Is it going to play out? I quit a long time ago being concerned with it. I do what you feel is right for you today. Focus more on the present and the immediate future. 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, we could get hit by a meteor. We could play what if games all day long.
There could be somebody taking over the Capitol. We don't know.
Right.
Right now.
2 cents?
Right now.
Literally right now.
Literally right now.
Who knows? I mean, you never know. Literally right now that's happening.
So you can't, a lot of us lived through the financial, the housing collapse. None of us saw it coming. Everybody said it was going to be 6 months, it'll be over. 6 months, 8 months, it'll be over. A year from now, it's going to be over. And everybody kept planning, and nobody cut back fast enough because everybody was saying it's coming back. It's coming back. Should have cut faster and harder than we did. And it's just, you can play what if all you want. Play in the here and now. Figure it out.
So
Roll with the punches.
to kind of be, these guys are a little vague. I'll be more blunt, I guess, or my data would tell me, my intel tells me it's going to be one of two paths. One, we stay the course. Interest rates are historically low. We do not have enough housing in the country for the people that live here. Like, there's a shortage of housing, including in our laser-focused Wisconsin market. Again, we are not in multiple markets. We do not want to be in multiple markets. We're laser-focused right where we're at. That way we can really help this market and help those builders. I mean, I think our area is underbuilt. I think people are looking for new homes. I think remodeling is strong. The pandemic's helping that, right? So the interest rates are so low that it's almost foolish not to upgrade if you need to. Baby boomers at our historic rate want to downsize and in what I call jewelry box homes or condos and want to move into something else. So that creates a lot of change. A ton of the young folk, like Holden over here soon, are living with mom and dad. They're not going to do that into their 30s, so they're going to be moving into something. Is that even if it's rental, that's going to be construction, but even if it's rental, that means they're probably going to bump somebody else into home ownership. All those things are true. That could last for 36 months. Pretty long time. I can't imagine the government's going to bump interest rates. They want to keep the economy going. Complete flip side, which I would be just as strongly concerned about, is we have built a ton of inventory up. We are rolling. Whenever we're rolling that hard and that strong, it's got to pop. Inflation, windows are 12 weeks out. Supply and demand is way off course. Figure it out. I own a lumber mill in Saskatchewan. I own a window factory in Minnesota. I'm 12 weeks out in the board of directors. Normally I take a 5%, 3% inflationary increase. I'm taking a 12%, 15% increase. I got to get lead times back under control. Now inflation is surging. We're actually in a recession. We just don't realize it because the stock market is zooming. People are still in business. Restaurants are still somewhat open. But actually, as we come out of this, cash resources are going to drop. This false sense of security on the economy is going to fall. And we're going to be done. Tough 08 stuff. And drop rapidly. There won't be anybody coming in, and they're going to move away. Pandemic will be over. They've already redone their deck. They've redone their siding. They've done the remodels because they were home. Now we're out traveling. We're out doing things. I'm not so concerned about my house. I'm out living again. I want to get to a concert. I want to get to a sporting event because life is coming back, albeit with a app and a pass and a virus check. But life is coming back. Which one it's going to be, we don't know. As Drexel and any company listening, we have to plan for both. Is your team, are you as an individual, is your department ready to blow bigger or go take market share? There's one way to beat a recession, and we did it last time, we'll do it again. We might have 10 to 15% market share in any market we're in, which means 1 out of 10 projects at most come from Drexel. probably around 2 or 3% if we're being honest. Can we take that to 20%, 30% in any market? Yes. We just go take and supply happiness to more builders to regain that. That's the plan, either way. But we got to prepare either way. So that, again, back to the team member questions of what's the opportunities for me? I don't know the economy. I can't hire positions to train people. Oh, Joel, in 3 years, you're going to be this big, so we should be hiring 50 people. Right. That's good when the economy's rolling. Now we're going to overhire in every yard 3 people to get ready for summer. What if we don't know this? Don't need those people. So we're watching it. We do it daily. We watch it weekly. We watch it hourly. We try to get ahead of it. No one can. If any of us could figure it out, we wouldn't be sitting here, right?
That's right.
I would be on Joe Rogan's podcast with Jamie.
Yep.
In Cabo.
Yeah.
I would just be in Cabo. Why would I go on Rogan's podcast? I don't need to be. Right? Maybe just for fun.
All right.
I'd probably move to Wabino.
You actually would.
You would.
Okay.
All right.
Shout out Ross Harder.
Bowling alleys.
Be the mayor.
The pod at the bowling alleys. Okay.
I would love to hear more about the rollout of the virtual interior design component.
Rollout. I wonder what they mean. Just more about it, you think?
Yeah.
Right. So, should I role play like as a homeowner?
Sure.
I am working with Zach in Berlin, and I'm building a dream home for my wife and I. And we're just about wrapped up with design, but I want more. I want to see more. I want to know more about my house before I build it. I will be able to work with Amber and call her, and we'll have a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet and say, hey, what are you thinking? And she will be your interior designer. If you want her to pick out pillows, she will. Put a pool table in, flooring, window treatments, paint colors, you name it, cabinet design, she'll be able to help you and put it in a real virtual, visual walk-through arena before you actually spent a penny on anything besides her design fees, which will be $75 an hour. Very transparently, very inexpensive. If you know interior designers, they actually get more for that.
Yeah.
Down to the point, she'll pick out the front door for you.
So that'll
Or
help
help you to.
Yeah.
the quarterbacks be able to have all those decisions made.
Internally and as a builder, right? So internally, and Jason, a former builder, helps the builder sign a contract because they have locked in selections. Homeowner stress should go down because they have already made selections. The shell isn't up and they're saying, hey, Caitlin, go down to Drexel by Tuesday and pick out all of your door selections. Oh, what? I got life. I have life going on.
Yes.
It would be all done. We just simply order it for you. And again, as far as internally, we are chasing selection process as well. It would all be done ahead of time. Do you think I missed anything that maybe they were thinking about?
Just because the question says rollout timeline, when do you think this is real?
Yeah,
Like,
everything is real Jan 1, 2022,
Okay.
right? So everything's live, which means literally they're working on it. We'll be test piloting it hopefully by September. Okay, which means we'll be not offering it, but selecting it, test piloting it, working out the kinks. I mean, they're getting closer by the day. I can just tell by their stress level it'll ramp back up, but currently they feel a little ahead of the timeline.
Good. Good.
Thank you, Andy.
Yep.
All right. So we're into some systems now.
Bring it on.
Will there be more in-depth training utilizing the MVP software for shift leads and production personnel at systems locations?
Absolutely. Yeah, because we're just getting into converting over into the full suite, the MVP suite, into Amherst and converting. So the first phase is getting the design all converted over. Obviously, we were using MyTech before, but utilizing more of that suite that they have available. So phase one is getting the designers up to speed, being able to communicate back to supply in terms of scheduling and projects, and then the next phase, is going to be rolling that out more into the shop environment to be able to get them more tools and more features so that they have more information at their fingertips. So it's coming.
Cool. Any consideration on cross-training our more veteran production team members at systems location in different areas other than production?
Absolutely. Ross and I and Jen and Neil, and this has been a constant conversation. In the past, we had a very intentional cross-training program. Years and years ago, we had a very intentional cross-training program. There's things that worked, there's things that didn't work, and I think we're going to take a look at that as an opportunity, certainly as a growth plan and a growth trajectory for people. First and foremost, you have to be really, really good at what you do. You don't want to be a jack of all trades, master of none. So it's a matter of getting really good at what you do in one area, and when you see an opportunity to move over into another area, absolutely. It's really, to me, it's no different than any other position within Drexel, right? This is your job. If you're really good at it and you see an opportunity, you want to take advantage of it, if it's there, we'll do it. But yeah, absolutely, because it's more, the more you know, the more versatile you are, the more valuable you become to ultimately to our customers.
Before we get to the next question, do we have time to tell a story about Jason's shirt? Can you show the camera your shirt and explain the shirt?
Fantastic.
It's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? I love.
When did we see that? A couple Novembers ago?
At a restaurant that is no longer.
Oh, I thought you got it at the
Go
New
ahead,
Jersey
Cowboy, tell the story.
Tell the story.
Boardwalk.
New Jersey Boardwalk? No.
Yeah.
So this was after Joel and I had been talking for some time, and we got in kind of the negotiation of the merger and the sale of Blanker Building Systems into Drexel, and so we met down in Elmira at Bublitz.
Yeah, now it's soon to be Rosie's. Shout out to the
Rosie's.
Cole family. Opening any week, Rosie's in Highway 41, Elmira.
Yes. So we met there for lunch, I believe it was, and I don't know, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, and I brought this shirt. It's a fine purchase. You can find it on Amazon. So
What'd you type in? I love Drexel.
I just put Drexel, and I Love Drexel shirt came out. So I wanted them to know that I was serious.
That's
that
your
we
commitment.
That's my commitment.
Instead of a promise ring, you brought on t-shirts.
Yeah, no, I was going to say it, and I'm always holding, I think a lot of people know that. I always equate life to what, Caitlin? What are my
Dating
stories?
scenarios.
Dating scenarios or restaurants.
Restaurants. Yep.
Like two things. So literally it's you're standing in with a girl in the bedroom, right? And you're like sitting on the bed, you're like, so, right? That was the meeting we were having. We were in Elmira, it's like, is this actually happening? Like, is Jason literally gonna merge up with us? And he takes the shirt off and it says, I love Drexel. We're like, yes, it's the world's best meeting, right? So and it's a little awkward, right? You're sitting on the bed, you're like, so that's where it was at.
Yeah.
I'm a skeptic by nature, and I didn't know what kind of play he was making.
Yeah.
Very confused. Totally different perception than yours, but that's the way we operate. But I don't know if it's a sales tactic. Like, why are you really wearing that?
He is a skeptic
That was my
at
dating
heart.
life
Like,
too,
he
though.
always questions
Why
everything.
are
So
you
that would make
interested in me?
sense.
What do you?
Both things were true.
He would question whether it was
I
genuine.
knew
Like,
both
what are you
things were true,
trying
that was
to
like
do?
the positive side. I'm going either way, I'm in the bedroom with a girl. Andy's like, I have to go to the bathroom.
How am I going to screw this up? How am I going to screw this up again?
And he's like, maybe she's just tired, right? I mean, that's where we're at.
Last option again. That's fine, I guess.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Two more questions. Would it be possible to have maintenance personnel or team members available on call for a systems location and in the unlikely event of equipment machinery malfunctions during overnight shifts?
Yes, we need to do a better job with that. They are already kind of on call, but
Formally.
Not formally, but we're going to be working on improving that so that as we grow second and third shift, that's in Amherst especially, that's going to be a need, and even in Little Chute, and as we ramp this up.
And it may not be Jared, so don't take that to the bank. I even did take it a step further. I had a conversation with Ross and Jared, a new truss designer in Amherst, good guy. Asked him, because he used to be second shift in manufacturing, would you consider doing second shift truss design at home?
Right.
Because we'd love to have a truss designer on
to
call.
help answer questions.
Because they can answer questions, because they get stuck
Yeah.
at, midnight, 1
Need
a.m.,
information.
going 9 p.m., going, I need information. So we aren't back to, if it's not Jared, someone else. We want to have a truss designer on call, and as well as maintenance on call.
Nice.
But is there another systems question?
Just one more.
Go ahead.
How can we get a video tour of Amherst without all that noise?
We can make that happen.
If only that was a couple times.
I could maybe just hit the mute button.
Yeah.
Right, you can just put it on me, turn the
Sorry,
volume down.
I don't know, maybe that's on me, maybe.
Put some
I don't
music
know.
over it.
music over it?
I don't know what's loud.
It's a loud environment. It's hard to pick up audio without a microphone. When we recorded the video, in hindsight, we would have we just did it on a phone, so it wasn't like super
Very
high
impromptu.
quality.
Yeah, we haven't
but-
done anything formally with the video.
No, but I think it would be beneficial for the rest of the team, and it's something that we certainly can
customers.
do, and customers, and,
Right.
and,
Yeah.
and narrate it or have some
Right.
audio. I think some of the noise background helps add to the environment and
Yeah.
to the experience.
Right, but not, maybe not getting the content, right? So-
Right.
Soft rock over it, maybe some Hall & Oates, maybe some Chuck Mangione, George Benson.
Chuck Mangione.
I know we've talked in the
You know it
HPD
when
end
you
of
hear it.
things of just having it not only for clients to review, but also in our recruitment tool
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, because it's a cool environment as well.
It is.
And I guess just to tack on to these last couple, we are having a strategic meeting here coming up very shortly. These items are on that list so that we can start addressing it. And any of these ideas, really bubble these up to your tactical, and if they're not, some of these are not a today thing, but they're going to be on the parking lot or on the roadmap for the future, that we need to be thinking about these things, and I certainly appreciate asking the question, and just
Yeah.
get that information up to those meetings.
I think everybody in the company now is on tacticals, right?
Should be.
They should
Right,
be.
so literally I use my tactical for when I have a question and can't sleep at night, I put it on my tactical. I don't know if it's supposed to be there or not there, but that's why it's an issue, because you can't sleep at night because you have this question. Whatever it is, put it on there. It'll go to the right place and it'll get resolved and it'll get done. If your tacticals aren't doing that, get me, Jason, Andy, any of your head coaches, department leaders. My tacticals suck, help me.
Yeah. And
Right,
if
and we'll
it's
comment
in
and
the
make
wrong
sure it's good.
tactical, then somebody should say, move that to the estimating tactical, move it to the.
Yeah, and rate your tacticals. If they're a 2, say that this one sucked, it was a 2. That's the only way to get better. Be real about them.
I think if you want to tie that back to one of the first questions about how big we're getting, I think the tacticals help think
Oh,
small.
gosh.
Like
Yeah.
if we do those right and people participate, it removes that feel of big corporate, because you are literally
Working on your
hopefully
issues.
working on your issues and getting stuff done weekly with the people that are closest to you in your.
Or bringing in the right,
Yeah.
or bringing in or bringing out the right issues that resolve
Yep,
your problems.
Which is back to staying connected with the other departments that you need to
You
stay
don't need
connected
to
with.
be in every conversation, Joel, myself, it's like, if you guys can solve that problem at that level, solve it.
Which sounds like it's a small thing then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Empower you to do
I
that.
see so many times, and people in tacticals with me, it's a question that's asked a lot. Is that a your department thing? Is that a your location thing? Is it one guy? When you get the root cause of it, it helps you just drill in from this big global problem to something probably relatively small, which again helps with that mindset. We're really large. We got 500 people.
Who would I ever talk
But
to?
when you drill that down, it always brings it back to that small feel, and I can talk to you because you're at my location or you're in my department, or cross-departmentally, that works too.
Some of the systems questions or manufacturing questions relate back to a little bit that we've had a light bulb moment and a vision of, and I want to, again, share it over and over again. A year from now, I want people to think of Drexel Systems and think of one word: quality. No bullshit. Like, by that I mean they're like, maybe we have problems all over the place, but they can like trust our quality.
Yeah.
Right? Like, American vehicles used to trust the quality of them. I want us to have a reputation across our marketplace in the state of Wisconsin of Drexel Systems as high quality. That's the number one thing I want to be remembered for. Jason believes in that. Our leaders do. I know everyone there does, but now it's actually living that and breathing that. So if we can do that, a lot of these questions go away. It forces a lot of things. I'm literally thinking about getting about a 50-foot banner in the shop that just says one word: quality. Because everything right now drills off that. We can't get, you can't build a new house when your own house is on fire, right? So we can't get robots, automation, and do the cool stuff until we get this right where we are. And to do that, it's all back to the things we've been saying: do the little things every day amazingly well.
Fundamentals. You
Fundamentals,
break
but
it down.
metrics, cross-training, sharing stories, a lot of things planned. We're going to need all your help, but quality is the word. And it's not like, again, marketing or weird or whatever. It's just obvious to me. And it took me a while to get there, but that's what it is. What else?
We just have a few ESOP questions, but I think I'm going to work with Julie individually and answer those to the
Okay.
team. Because I
Okay,
think
great.
she would be able to answer them correctly, and it's kind of important enough where you need exact details and exactly
Yeah.
right, and I don't.
Well, the
I
big
hate-
thing in year 2 with an ESOP,
Yep.
Big thing with year 2 of the ESOP, it's finally going to take root. The first year, you just get shares. You're like, yeah, it's a little pop. The second year, and then the third, fourth year, you'll see your shares, not only you're going to get more shares, each share is going to be worth more because we did have a good year. So you're going to start seeing, oh, could be a thing. So we didn't talk about it a lot in year 1 because I didn't feel it was that real to people. Right. We're going to talk about it more. We're going to live it more and breathe it more as a company once people start seeing the growth of the shares they have combined with new shares.
What was the name of the lumberyard in the article you shared today?
Ganhall.
So Joel shared an article today. It's January 6th is when this is being recorded. So go in your inbox and find it. It talks about what that looks like years down the road for them. They did it years ago and said it was the best move they did, and they go into detail about how that feels in a few years. So highly recommend reading that article. It does expand on what Joel's saying.
You send that back out to Team Blue. That didn't go to everybody.
No.
And you'll be sending
It's
that
the
out as an
LBM
email.
article.
You'll have it by then, before this comes out. Okay, cool. And you can maybe highlight that portion, Andy, or something.
You got it.
Awesome.
That's it, guys.
That's it?
You answered all the questions.
We did it. So, in conclusion, thank you all for coming on. You're all amazing leaders. We really appreciate you guys having. Thanks, everybody, for the comments.
Yes.
Episode number 18.
In the books?
Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go.